Our company mission is to help people live healthier and happier lives. We live that purpose every day in our stores and our communities. I'm proud of the company, but in the rich history, but also where we're going. I'm excited on the technology journey we're on.
That's Mike Maresca, Global Chief Technology Officer of Walgreens Boots Alliance. You have about $135 billion in revenue and 315,000 employees.
The scale is amazing at times and daunting at others. We're one of the world's largest retail pharmacy healthcare destinations. We have more than 450,000 team members globally. We operate in 25 countries. We're embedded in our communities. We have over 13,000 stores. We have approximately 9 million store visits, online interactions with our customers, 100 million loyalty program members, over 1.5 billion prescriptions every year, and increasingly critical health services. It's a great company. It's having a great impact across the globe.
Mike, when we talk about digital customer experience, it's an important part of your remit and what you think about as CTO. Can you give us an overview of what that actually means in the context of Walgreens Boots Alliance?
To me, experience is about having impact with your customers, where they're at, how they interact with you. And I'm sure you remember a visit to the store where a team member greeted you when you walked in, took time to understand your needs, navigated you through the entire experience, and perhaps even followed up with you after the sale, and to see if there is anything more they can do. One fun fact I remember, and gets back to that experience, Charles Walgreen, the founder of the Walgreens business, used to greet every customer that walked through the pharmacy. So it's that experience that we're trying to recreate every day. In last October, our CEO, Roz Brewer, reminded us to be customer obsessed. And that is certainly true in our stores, certainly with some of the investments we're making, some of the digital services, and how we're personalizing that experience for our customers. And we're really excited about the momentum we have. When you put the customer at the center, you usually get this right. And I think we're doing a lot of good things today for our customers and our patients.
And we have a question relating to this from a technical standpoint from Wayne Anderson on Twitter, who asks, how does design and the approach to design and architecture change in a digital journey that we haven't seen before?
First and foremost, we couldn't do what we do today without leveraging the power of the cloud. And that's important. We've made massive investments in the cloud. It's given us the ability to drive new capabilities at scale. For example, digital capabilities around patient advisory, telehealth services, last mile partnerships with Uber, reimagining our program and our My Walgreens. We couldn't do this without the power of the cloud. And then, from there, we've actually evolved how we actually deliver our IT. The cloud is our foundation. I'm most excited about how we're delivering on cloud. We significantly decreased our time to market through agile and product-centric delivery. We're thinking about capabilities as products rather than that evolve with our customer needs and part of our customer journeys. With that mindset change, it's allowing us to rethink how we plan to deliver our work. And our success is improving every day. We've got new capabilities that we deliver in weeks, not months, and it translates to a more responsive customer experience. We've launched things like drive-through shopping for essential health items. We've scaled our e-commerce platforms to meet unprecedented spikes in demand. Some of those spikes in demand, like around testing services that we saw around holidays. So it's been fantastic, built on a new foundation in the cloud, but also evolving the way we deliver the IT.
So it sounds like an important part of the experience that you're creating is to be very flexible and be able to respond to what customers, the evolving expectations, the evolving behaviors of customers.
That's correct. We've seen our business grow. When the pandemic hit, the way that we interacted with our customers, the services they required changed dramatically. And we had to adjust the way we deliver IT, the foundations we deliver IT on. and really keep up with the evolving speed of our business. So it's been an amazing journey. I think I'm so proud of our IT team and our business team for helping us navigate that journey. But it's been, over the last 2 years, 2 years that I've been here, we've made some great progress along that line.
When you think about the components of creating a great experience, what does that mean? And along the way, it's a little bit surprising to me that as the CTO, you're thinking about this, because we usually think of technology and experience as being distinct.
It is a challenge. I mean, trying to meet, to modernize the organization certainly has been a challenge. The way that we deliver the products, the technology foundations, but importantly, finding that intersection of our business needs and our technology platforms and foundation has been critical. And we're making massive investments in that space. We're modernizing our technology in cloud and data. You've heard about that, or you will hear about that. But our ambitions, and through some of our strategic partnerships that are out there in the ecosystem, just to name a few, Microsoft, we're leveraging the Microsoft, all they have to offer in the cloud, also their analytics. Adobe, we've partnered with them to create a world-class marketing and customer data platform. Snowflake is our cloud data warehouse. Verizon, British Technology, British Telecom are helping us transform our network services. We were the first 5G-powered pharmacy in the world. So it is staying connected with our business, connected, putting the customer at the center, but also making the right investments at the right time to power those journeys. And it's been a great last 2 years. And I think WBA has made some significant progress in driving that experience for our patients and our customers.
Could you define what are the aspects or the components that would make a great experience? So what are the reference points that you're using as you're planning all of these pieces?
I think there was a trend there, and then there was a call to action. Prior to the pandemic, consumers were really defining the value and redefining value and convenience, evolving the way they shopped, adopting to new technologies. In order to meet those changing needs, we had to accelerate our efforts to modernize and transform our business. And we did that with extreme care. I just shared with you some of our business metrics. You're kind of trying to change the wheels on the car while you're driving it. And really, COVID came along and added some urgency to that challenge. And some of the things that we already had planned, we accelerated. And a lot of that was putting the right technologies in place, but also delivering some new services that were needed at that time, which evolved throughout the pandemic. It was bringing a lot of those services online instead of just in the stores, because that's where our customers wanted to get this point of service. And we were actively making technology investments globally to modernize our pharmacy, our retail, our healthcare infrastructure, to offer those products and services delivered when, where, and how our customers prefer it. And of course, when you put the customer at the center, you succeed. And I think we've developed a great customer experience that we continue to evolve because our customer needs evolve.
We have another question from Twitter, again from Wayne Anderson. Wayne is on a roll, and he's a regular listener, and I thank Wayne. Wayne works for Microsoft, and he says, how do you measure success in the digital transformation of customer experience? And in other words, he says, how do you know you're making the right moves? It's a really, really good question.
I think there's speed in terms of being able to react and anticipate customer needs. I also think there's the traditional measures of NPS, and what are the customers saying about the experience that we're delivering through our digital platforms, but also through our stores. So I think speed, innovation, having the right technology foundation and talent to deliver against that, and just being obsessed with your customers, working with your business partners, and I think is the key to success.
You're Chief Technology Officer. So how do you intersect with these customer expectations and with the business needs? Because obviously you're thinking about things much more broadly than just the technology infrastructure alone.
There's no technology for technology's sake. It's how does our technology drive our business agenda? And I've been working across our executive team to understand where we're taking our business strategy, understanding our customer feedback, and making targeted investments with our leadership team in the right areas to help drive that business strategy forward. One such example is in October, we announced that we're going to start moving forward with healthcare services and personalized healthcare services through a series of strategic partnerships, Village MD, CareCentrix, et cetera. So it's working closely with our executive team and understanding our business strategy and making the right targeted IT and technology investments to support that business strategy.
And we have another question from Twitter. This one is from E.G. Nadan, and he says, how do you measure the return on technology investments that are targeted to innovating around customer experience?
There's a couple of good examples of that. Not all of them are easy. So it's hard to necessarily measure, for instance, cost to fill, cost of services and any efficiencies you can drive through that. A lot of it is, for instance, on NPS, the customer experience. Also, new capabilities. So vaccine services, which previously, we expanded our offering there throughout the pandemic. We're able to measure in terms of the impact on our patients, but also the impact on our business. So, we had to make some technology investments to support those capabilities. So that's just one of the ways, one example, which recently what we've done. We made some targeted investments in AI as well, which help us manage inventory, which have allowed us to increase customer service, as well as manage our inventory and our costs. So we're really excited about that. That's an example of AI at scale within WBA that is really having an impact on our ability to operate better. So not everything is seen by the customer. Some of it is felt by the customer when they see that we're able to streamline our services, offer them at a competitive price, and drive a better experience.
So as you are thinking about planning technology investments, how much do you, it's obvious that you're thinking about, the cost of hardware, hardware, software, bandwidth, but how do you factor in this whole customer experience aspect, which is kind of intangible? I'm just building on the question from E.G. Nadan.
So, for instance, we just made some investments in our network infrastructure. We wanted to bring a truly omni-channel experience, a more immersive set of capabilities in our stores. And this is just one example where we had to improve the network. Increasingly, we see more of our applications supported through cloud, more data-intensive applications, and we wanted to bring those at the edge to our stores. So we made an investment with Verizon here in the US and with British Telecom in Boots to modernize our technology network because we anticipated these needs and we believed that it was going to support our future ambitions. So many times you have to get ahead of that. You anticipate where our business strategy is taking it and certainly the way we will deliver IT in the future. And that was just one example where we anticipated, made the right investments, and we're in the process of modernize our network.
It sounds like you're also thinking about the role of IT in this experience domain. Where does IT and technology fit in order to support that, which is kind of different than historically what the role of at least the CIO role was.
IT is an enabler, even a disruptor in some of these areas, right? The ability to kind of change the experience through, customer trends. Our customers are increasingly embracing technology, the convenience that technology brings, and we need to bring that technology into that customer experience if we're going to have the impact we want.
You're doing all of this at such an enormous scale, and so how again do you think about this from just managing the scale aspect of it?
The things that keep me up at night are first the talent. I'm sure most of your guests talk about the talent, and I'll state one thing. I often hear this stat that the speed of technology evolution, the technology skills get refreshed approximately every 3.5 to 4 years. So we made some massive investments in our team in order to drive the technology forward. We're modernizing our technology. I've talked to you about some of the strategic partnerships we have, but also the investments in cloud, but also data and analytics so that we can actually start driving a more personalized experience. And then, of course, innovation. I'm sure this keeps most business leaders up at night. How do we continue to invest in the right time and the right technology to support our business? And this is about finding that intersection of business and IT and anticipating our business needs. And it's true in the health service area, which I mentioned before. And, we were just recently named by Fast Company, Walgreens 2002 as the number one most innovative company in the health category. We're very proud of that. It certainly inspired us to continue to drive on the strategy that we're in. They were citing our strategy to transform local pharmacies into more personalized healthcare destinations. And I think that is an ambitious goal, and we're driving and accelerating towards it.
I'm going to pop back to Twitter for some more questions. You can see I really prioritize the questions that come from the audience. The audience asks such great questions. You guys are awesome. So this is from M. Ahmad Shahzad, and he says, how do you see hyper personalization impacting the in-store experience, especially when Walgreens looks at pharmacy and non-pharmacy interactions? So he's asking about the complexity of hyper personalization and data, and how do you manage that?
As you digitize more of your business, those digitized processes create an enormous amount of data. And I think the data or the digital exhaust that you see, we can leverage to create experiences, better shopping experience, even better business outcomes as we run a global company. But getting back to the customer, we leverage that data to connect across our three offerings, retail, pharmacy, as well as healthcare, but also across an omni-channel experience. Just recently, we introduced health into our My Walgreens, our loyalty application or program. So we're starting to use the data to kind of drive it, to drive an experience across our channels, but also across our offerings, and putting the customer at the center of that.
This is from Arsalan Khan, who is another regular listener who asks amazing questions. And he says, what are the boundaries of customer experience? Is it limited to only what your organization can do, or do you collaborate with other companies to improve the overall customer experience? So he's really asking about the nature of partnerships.
We've partnered with certain companies around telehealth. We have a partnership with Uber to deliver the last mile. We have partnerships with VillageMD, which is allowing us to create provider clinical services in our stores, and CareCentrix and LabCorp. So it's starting to kind of build out that health offering. So those partnerships are very core, and as well as blending them with our, the capabilities that we have within Walgreens and across Boots. So those partnerships are important for us to deliver end-to-end care, both from a retail, pharmacy, but also a healthcare perspective to our customers.
It sounds like an important part of this customer experience mandate is the end-to-end aspect of it.
It is. We get back to some of the technology enablers to that. Cloud to help us move and evolve our capabilities at speed. Data, which help us stitch together those experiences. So increasingly, it's a connected experience and something that's deeply personal. Those are all important, but it's that end to end. Getting back to our mission statement, which is really about driving, healthier and happier lives. And it's something we cling to and we hold very dear. That is treating the patients and the customers with that end-to-end health journey.
Again, from E.G. Nadan, who says, what steps are WBA taking to make it a quote unquote frictionless customer experience? And what is the role of technology in these initiatives?
We've got contactless payment. We've accelerated, we've introduced new capabilities, new delivery options. Those are all, a loyalty program that connects the services across all our offerings. The last mile partnerships, which I mentioned, that is part of a set of capabilities that are driving a frictionless, touchless experience that increasingly become more important over the last few years. And technology is really driving that. I get back to cloud. We couldn't do or innovate with what we do and deliver these digital experiences without the power of the cloud. It gives us the resilience, but also the scale. And we've seen, advances recently, right? We are now a retail best, click to curbside pickup in 30 minutes. We got new immunization and diagnostic services, COVID testing and vaccination. We have AI chat capabilities that allow us to be very responsive to, the customer, even when a team member is not available. And we have a set of connected health services that you can find through Walgreens Find Care or over in Boots, our health hub. So we're bringing that type of capability in a seamless, frictionless, touchless way to our customers and patients. And we're real excited about it. We're having some very good impact on the experience that our patients and our customers want.
You said that data is I'm paraphrasing, is the glue that helps stitch all of this together.
It really is. I'll get back to, as you digitize more of your business, there's a lot of data, the digital exhaust. It is helping drive compelling customer experiences, shopping preferences, product suggestions, care gap closure, even service recommendations. We are trying to personalize how we use that data, but also be very careful. So with this comes great responsibility. And I think we're an industry best in terms of protecting the privacy of our patient data that they entrust with us, but using it to the point where we can, with consent, drive that experience. And ultimately, it is, the experience that you get while you're in the store as part of the transaction, as part of the journey, but also, we're trying to use mass personalization in ways. I said we're going to move away from a mass advertiser to truly a one-to-one marketer, and we're using the Adobe platform to tailor those experiences to scale every one of our millions of customers and really meet them where they, and provide them use their customer preferences and shopping preferences, and really kind of drive that next level of engagement with them. It's invigorating. The innovation that we're in terms of how we're engaging our customers, in terms of how we personalize that experience, has been invigorating.
Arsalan Khan comes back again with another question responding to the point you were just making about collecting data. And he asks this: when you're collecting data, how do you decide when too much data has been collected? And I'm going to paraphrase that and basically say, so how do you know what data to collect, how much data to collect, and then overlay the privacy aspect? So there's a business dimension, and then there's, of course, the privacy aspects.
We constantly look at the data that we collect. We handle it with great care. We talk, again, putting the patient at the center. How can we use the data to actually personalize our products and services? And we approach that obligation. We have embedded privacy policies. We mandate associate training, compliance reviews with how we use it. So I think that was part of the question: is how do we know when we've collected too much data? Well, we actually, kind of let the experience guide the data that we collect. And certainly, with part of our business, we have to collect the data to provide the care. But we have a global privacy program that and a privacy team in place that advises us and guides us on what data to collect and what data not to collect. And of course, we follow applicable laws and the privacy policies according to the companies or the countries and the states that we operate in. So I think we're best in class in this area, and something that we put number one in terms of how we design our systems and the experiences for our patients.
And how about just from a non-privacy perspective, how do you figure out what data you should be gathering from a utility standpoint? You can gather, all the data in the world, but that doesn't mean that it's all going to be useful. And then it just consumes resources and time in dealing with it.
How do we drive the process, and how do we enhance the experience? And if you tie it back to that, that's how you design your data collection practices. And, of course, tying back to, making sure you're compliant with laws and privacy policies that we hold so dear. So, that's how I'd answer that question. It's how does it drive the process going forward for the patient or the customer? And then second, is there an opportunity to enhance the experience? And that really guides us.
Let's pop over to LinkedIn. And there is a question from Melissa Cashdollar. She's a client director at Gartner. And she asks, what innovations are you most excited to see that will drive customer impact over the next 1 to 3 years?
Very excited about our investment in our network. We were the first 5G powered pharmacy in the world. And it was right here in Chicago. That we opened that up just a little less than a year ago. We believe that's going to open up immense opportunities in our stores to drive that next level experience, next level of capability. And then certainly as we deliver capability at the edge, that network platform is going to help us tremendously. So we're really excited about that. I think some of the work that we're doing in cloud and also is exciting as well. That is the foundation that powers our ability to be increasingly agile for our business. Increasingly, we're competing with big tech, and being able to embrace the power of the cloud in order to innovate with new capabilities, but also have the safety net of resiliency that you get with the cloud is important for us. And I think some of the work that we're doing in analytics, and this is using machine learning, AI, to anticipate customer needs, to embrace them through AI chat, as an example, and answer questions and guide the customer experience is one. Also, some of the things that we're doing there to reduce our costs and streamline our operations, which ultimately comes back to the customer. We've been able to deploy certain capabilities that help us increase our customer service through the right sizing of our inventory in our stores. And we've done that all through data and AI. So there's some exciting things here. I don't know if I can name one. I'll probably just name three, and I probably keep going. But those are some of the exciting things that are happening at WBA today.
I just want to remind everybody who's watching, subscribe to our newsletter. Hit the subscribe button at the top of our website. And if you're watching on CXOTalk.com, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so we can notify you about what's coming up. Now, Wayne Anderson says, change keeps accelerating. How do we build in flexibility and resilience to keep change from breaking the people, the mechanics, the processes of the business? And how do you as CTO help build the business relationships to help solve all of this for speed? I think that's really what he's getting at, is the non-technology aspects of your role in terms of connecting the pieces and ensuring that it all works for the organization.
I think that relationship between technology and business is so critical. Being able to speak the language of the business, break down technology, kind of complex technology problems, investments, new ways of thinking is critically important in terms of being able to connect with the business and explain kind of what are the next steps to how we become a digital first business. On top of that relationship and that awareness and building that awareness with the business is, changing the way we think. One thing that we did, I'll use an example, and this is over in the digital space. So how we deliver capabilities like my Walgreens, for example, is start to kind of think of things as a business or as a product. a product that evolves with customer needs and working with the business to consider feature functions, but also additional products that make up those compelling customer experiences. That's a huge mind shift change. And that was one where we actually had a dedicated product team, but also a dedicated engineering team so that the product could work with the business on the experience. And then we retooled our engineering team so that we could deliver against that agenda. And I'm very proud of the progress we're making. I mean, if you looked at how we have evolved our digital platforms over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of products. I can go through all the different services that we had released as part of our response to the pandemic and the changing needs of our really a lot of the trends that were just accelerated through the pandemic. We had to modernize the platform, rethink how we consider products in the context of a digital experience, and then drive a new way in terms of how we engineer towards those on the cloud, but with the resiliency and the speed that we're now delivering in weeks, not months. Very proud of that evolution, which continues today. That product thinking, agile mindset with a higher level of engineering in cloud. So.
Here is a question, again, back from E.G. Nadan for his third time, but he asks great questions. And he says, healthcare and well-being apply to customers across all age groups. What is the role of technology in tailoring the customer experience to different age groups, kids, teenagers, adults, all the way up to senior citizens? So he's really talking about that mass personalization that you mentioned earlier, I think.
There's certainly various needs across our customer, essentially our patient base. And the investments we made in our personalization engines, whether it be the care itself, the education that we provide, how we've constructed and actually integrated our loyalty program with healthcare loyalty program has been tailored such that it does meet the individual needs of those customer segments. I have an amazing clinical team, not me, but I partner with an amazing clinical team and healthcare services team that is able to tailor those services, define those programs. And increasingly, the platforms that we have, the personalization engine, personalization platform that we have, the new products that we're introducing, which are tailored towards those set of experiences, are increasingly meeting the needs of our patients, depending, regardless of demographic or age group.
You mentioned earlier, Mike, about the importance of talent. And so can you talk about that as well in this overall equation?
And our technology team is on this journey, this modernization, this transformational journey with us. And as we explore new capabilities, we need to provide a path for our team members to advance their skills. It's critical, and it's one that I'm deeply passionate about. So last year, we actually launched what we call our IT Academy. It's a workforce transformation platform powered by Pluralsight. And this helps us meet the demands, demands like data science, which is new, engineering, cloud architecture, the new capabilities that will ensure that we can deliver for the business. It's been, and I'm so pleased that platform has taken off. Team members are embracing the platform, the opportunities to take current in their craft. They're taking training and certification programs. So, some of the more popular subjects are cloud, agile, business, just general business fundamentals, because get back to that importance of finding the intersection of business and IT, even things like Python. So it's inspiring to see how the teams are and the talent are coming along the way on this journey. And the IT Academy was one platform that's helping us drive that. So it's very important for us to bring our team members along this journey.
And on the topic of IT, we have a question from Twitter from Chris Peterson, who says, looking at combined stores like the Walgreens plus Kroger locations, what were the unique challenges for IT?
I mean, as you might guess, the integration. When you have Walgreens and Kroger, if that's the one that you're referring to, and it's customer experience across those two companies, and it's connecting the systems. to manage that experience. So that was one of the primary challenges that we embraced there. But we're getting through it.
Can you talk about some of the key lessons or key pieces of advice that you have for business leaders that are looking at customer experience in the digital realm? And what have you learned through this journey that you've been on?
No matter what's your role in terms of owning the business outcome through technology, it's finding that intersection of IT, business, having that relationship with the business to understand where the strategy is going, and finding the right way to invest in the technology and the people that'll get us there. It's also, I think, important to make what I call good trouble. And that is to be disruptive in your thinking, challenge the status quo, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to make changes, and making changes in a big organization is sometimes tough. I think it goes back to the relationships you have, the ideas that you put on the table, putting the customer at the center is certainly part of that, and driving measurable business results. Because IT for IT's sake, that's in some cases that may make sense. In most cases, trying to attach it to how is it going to drive the business forward, and ultimately that's putting the customer at the center.
So as you said earlier, technology does not exist in isolation from what customers need by putting customers in the center, and from what your colleagues who are delivering various aspects of this experience and the products and services, what they need. Sounds like that's really kind of the mantra that you have as well. That is.
Not, and move fast, but not too fast. But it's also, increasingly it's okay to fail. So be bold enough to try new things, and you may fail, you may find something that doesn't work, but have the courage to keep moving forward. So that's sometimes hard in a big organization, but I think what we're trying to do is make big feel small, and challenge people to continue to innovate. And I think we're doing we're having a lot of fun doing it too. I think that's an important part of it, the equation as well. Have fun doing it.
Now we have one more question from Ahmad Shahzad. He jumped in right at the wire here, and he asked a great question though. He says, we're seeing a rapid increase in security and availability challenges, especially when there's the possibility of state-sponsored attacks on critical functions. What are your thoughts about security?
We have made targeted investments in our security perimeters, but also layered. Certainly some of the, I think you're referring to some of the geopolitical issues that are out there, namely the war in Ukraine and Russia. There's increased security threats for that and other events. We have really made, getting back to how we need to protect our data, our customers' data, we made very, very specific and purposeful investments in the security of our IT infrastructure. And we have an amazing security team that's helping us continue to monitor and evolve that security set of security capabilities. So very important. Certainly with increased threat vectors that are out there today, it continues to be important, and we take it very seriously.
We've run out of time. And so a huge thank you to Mike Maresca, who's the Global Chief Technology Officer of Walgreens Boots Alliance. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I'm very grateful to you.
Michael, thank you. And thanks to the audience that attended. It's been great to talk about what's happening at WBA.
And to all of our audience members, thank you for asking such amazing questions. Really, it's great. Now, before you go, please subscribe to our newsletter. Hit the subscribe button at the top of our website and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can send you information about our upcoming shows. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again next time. Check out CXOTalk.com.